Ah, excellent. It seems to be working now. Ah, excellent. I'm here. Right, I was actually for a second I was streaming on my other channel. So this is Idea Tea. I'm having a really chilled evening here with the dog, and I just thought I would go through a few things that have been happening with Idea Tea recently. And I will not go onto that. I will go onto the website. So, Idea T, the website is all up and running, and I've got things like a music section which has the first two albums on it because I've got the first two albums on Spotify, and that's really exciting. And I've also got the vinyls for the first two albums as Idea T one, which comes with a 12-page booklet with some things about like how I made the music and stuff like that. And then there's Idea T2, which is a bit of a shortened version of the Idea T2 album. I've had to cut a couple of tracks off it in order for it to fit on the record. Um, but yeah, that's going on there. And then I have some really exciting things in the merch store. And basically I've got bags, I've got suitcases, which is quite cool. And there's iPhone cases, t-shirts, hoodies, and if you want anything else, just let me know. In terms of music that has been released, I will just go onto my account and there is a new video music video for Fractal Clarity, which is a tune of the second album, and that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. So check out that music video. That is out. And what else have I been doing? Oh, what I've been doing is I've been trying to do this playlist push kind of thing where you basically submit your music. I'm doing flowers in this particular case, and you submit it to real legit playlist curators, and they decide whether they want to play your track or not. And I thought you might want to have a look at this. It's called Playlist Push, and I thought you might find it interesting to see some of the responses that I've had about flowers. If you are interested in having a listen to this track as a bit of context to see, well, what kind of response would I get from this, as flowers is on here. Um, so you can have a look on that. And basically, the let's start from the top here. I mean, I would recommend really having a listen to Flowers beforehand, and then you could have a look at this feedback and see what you think of it. Um, and what I find with things like this is like it's interesting how contradictory some of the advice is and how it varies from person to person so much. So this one we've got the track starts off with a drum loop that feels low quality. A more thought of sample selection would be more beneficial for the track. The main harp has too much low end and the synth lacks air. The bubbly riser also has too much low end and the white noise up filter is too loud. When all the instruments come together, including the funky guitar first and incredible solo later on, the sounds finally start sounding cohesive and well produced. If I were you, I'd put more emphasis on the acoustic sounds, as the mixing and melodies on these are amazing. Unfortunately, the track would be a skip long before these came in. So it's basically saying the track's amazing once it builds up to a certain point, and because he hasn't got he hasn't got the patience to get to that point, he's like, yeah, I would have skipped it, so it's not going on my playlist. Um, Next one we've got, thanks for sending this in. I think it's interesting how you combine electronic elements with organic instruments. The track progresses a lot from the intro to the later part of the song. I wasn't really able to connect emotionally with it though. Perhaps you can work on writing stronger melodic ideas. Maybe. Improving the mixing might also benefit the track. Unfortunately, I'll be declining this song, but thanks for the opportunity to hear it. And then we've got, hey there, thanks for sending this one. I'm sorry, but this beat doesn't fit our jazzy chill stuff. I can't help you with the placement with this. I'm sorry. At least it's straight to the point with that one. It's a jazzy chill playlist. I don't pick the playlist. I just basically have a few kind of filters that I put in. I kind of went for jazzy and experimental electronica, and those were the options that were kind of available to me, and it seemed the closest match in terms of this song. So this is react. So you're getting a mixture of some electronic people and then some jazzy people, and you can kind of tell which ones are which. Um, Hello, Dumomi the Jig. I'm not sure what that's about. I hope you're doing well today. Um, I love the powerful atmosphere of the guitar solos you made for this song. However, I feel the song doesn't match my current audience. Sorry about that. I hope you understand. Wish you all the best with the song. Another one. Hello, I've listened to your song and I will give you a review here. Thank you in advance for your trust in our opinion. What I liked most was the development you achieved through loops and electronic percussion, which grew from less to more until reaching the guitar solo section. You managed to tell a crescendo and electronic story that I found quite interesting. When it came to the guitar solo, I think the drum groove lacked a bit of fluidity in its construction. Perhaps in a future project you could consult with a drummer to achieve a more natural feel. As for the guitar solo, good try. Perhaps you need to continue learning about solo development, and it's normal because it's not easy. The end of the song was very abrupt. I don't quite understand why the audio suddenly cut out. Perhaps it was part of the arrangement or an error when exporting the audio from your DAW. Funnily enough, this was completely intentional for it to end in that way. It reverses the theme and then basically just like goes up to a point and then bloats out. That's intentional. Finally, I wouldn't include it in my playlist because I don't consider it to be part of the jazz aesthetic. So this is a jazz guy, obviously. Perhaps it would fit better in an electronic music playlist. The interesting thing about this is you having the jazz guys saying it's not jazz enough, and then you have an electronic guys saying that it's not electronic enough. Or, um, hey there, thanks for the submission. I had no idea what I was getting into, and it was a wild ride. I love the old school vibe to the song, but there's really no clear theme in the song, and it gets really wild. I think it lacks in mixing and mastering a real plot. I can't even tell what kind of genre it is, but it's anything but boring. Sadly, it's not a good fit for my playlist. Hi there, and thanks for the submission. Chill vibes here, however, it doesn't match the playlist vibes. I'm looking for lo fi chill beats only. For that reason, I'll pass this time. The track has a solid drive and energy, but I personally didn't feel it progressed enough over time. It felt quite static and slow overall. Don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's funky. Anyway, more dynamic variation and a build up that's shorter would bring a touch more variety and freshness to the song. All the best. I really love the funkified, discofied electronica at the start and ending of the track, but didn't vibe as hard with the blues guitar breakdown at the middle. It just changed the vibe too much from my personal preferences, though it was certainly an original touch, and I feel wish you well with the release. Thanks for sending over this lovely and creative tune. I really like the rhythm and arrangement. The drums have a nice groove as well. However, I would have preferred less of an electronic and experimental sound and more of a jazz hop sound. I really aim for sound consistency. I appreciate your skill and creativity. All the best. Hi, digging the guitar melody in this one. I'm not really a fan of such fast-paced guitar songs. So this is funny. Like I've had one guy saying that it's too slow, and like literally, what was the other one? Yeah. Personally felt it didn't progress enough over time, felt static and slow overall, more dynamic variation and build up the shot would bring more variety and freshness to the song. And then I would have preferred oh no, that was the other one. Um, I like slow songs, also felt the song was missing more dynamics. I don't like fast paced songs. So it's basically, yeah, with these kind of things, it's like apparently is about 5 to 15% of the playlist submissions that you get to that actually end up playing your stuff on average. And so far, these are every single one's rejected out of 11, and it's supposedly going up to about 90 something people. And yeah, it's like I don't know whether I've just not quite hit the genre for like what they're wanting, or I don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait until the rest of the feedback comes through and hope that there's some people that this music or this track kind of resonates with and it ends up doing well. I'm just going to put it on. No, sorry, I'll do it on my Spotify. Right, so just turn it up a little bit so I can have a listen myself. This is one other little thing that I've managed to do with my Shopify on Spotify. I've managed to bring in my merch so you can buy t-shirts through Spotify, which I have ordered one of these. I've ordered the purple one. Now to me this grooves along quite nicely, and I like some of the criticisms about the mix. To my ears, the mix works. It's balanced. Maybe I would have taken a little bit of high end of the snare clap kind of sound. But I kind of felt that was what made it interesting. And then you've got this build up, and then the drum bit comes in right here. And to me, that's cool. To me, the criticism of this not having a kind of development, you've got a nice, interesting dynamic change there, and apparently there wasn't enough dynamic changes in it, and yeah, it happened there. You've got a build up again, different layers to make it more interesting. Maybe the drum part could have been a bit more varied through this section. There could have been more going on with the drums, and I get that. I mean, yeah, there could have been more drums variation in here, to be fair, if I'd done that again. But I felt there was enough development with the guitar solo parts to make this interesting that the guitar was leading this. And I did try and do something more interesting with the drums through this particular section. It was a bit of a drum off kind of thing, because yeah, it was like that, and then it's building back into this section. And then I kind of put some variations with some reverse parts. There are some variations in the drums that are pretty cool. I mean, and then it's back to that kind of return to the theme. And then you got a feeling of the track kind of naturally coming to an end now, thinning out a bit. I mean, apparently this was an abrupt ending from one of the guys. No, to me this feels like a natural trade-off and then trail-off. And then, you know, you've got space there and then just reverse the main riff at the end. And then it just come to an end. That it seems intentional to me, but I understand that, you know, people have got their playlists and have got to, you know, cater to their listeners, and I get that. One of the things that I was wanting to chat about briefly as well was this whole thing with Spotify artists and some of the features that I didn't know about on here. So there's quite a lot of things that you can do on the Spotify Artists app, and one of the things that I didn't know about was the merch and events kind of thing. So you can bring in kind of live events into this. So if you have any upcoming gigs, you can talk about them on Spotify, which is really cool. You can have merch items from your Shopify, and Shopify connects into this, so you can have on-demand merch available in your Spotify account, artist account, which is really cool. I don't know what campaign's done. Audience at the moment, there aren't a huge amount of people listening to my music. The number of listeners has actually jumped up a little bit, so I must be getting a few streams and a few people listening. No followers other than me, but the number of listeners has varied a bit. I wonder what location is. Oh, the demographics are a bit wider now because I've got a few people. Oh, that must have been one old person, and then one younger person, and then one person my age. Release engagement, there's not very much going on here. There's not very much information because it's new. There's not many people listening to me yet. And yeah, it's all very new. One of the things that I was wanting to talk about was, and this is something that I'm going to do with a future release, is what you can do if you plan ahead with submitting playlists, is that you can basically have the Spotify kind of, I don't know, playlist gurus, whoever they are, basically look over your song and then hopefully at the time that it gets released, then it will be put into a Spotify playlist. So if you think in advance, you can get your stuff kind of done. So when the way this works is you kind of have it, um, you do an advance release. I think they say like 2 weeks before is the optimum. So you kind of give yourself 2 weeks before, uh, and then get in touch with them, tell them that the track's on its way, and for their curators to have a look at it, and then hopefully they will put it up. And then what was the other thing I was wanting to have a look at? Oh, there was one thing in Lander which I thought was interesting. Um, so in my Lander account, um, I mean, I know this is all very businessy orientated and stuff like that today, and not very creative, but I think this stuff is interesting. In my trends, I've noticed I'm getting quite even spread. There's me, and then there's the rest of the world, and I've noticed there's been quite a jump up in the number of people on YouTube Music listening to my stuff, which I wasn't quite expecting because there's only really Idea T2 on that particular service. Because the first album I did, there's a limitation in order to get your music onto YouTube that tracks can't be more than 10 minutes long. And if there's any songs that are more than 10 minutes long on your release, then the entire release cannot be put onto YouTube. So basically, the first album cannot go onto YouTube, because it's got one track that's like 23 minutes long. And, that's, how long, it just kind of makes me think, how long of like videos can you have on YouTube? And, you know, you can have YouTube videos that are practically infinite length and they don't care. And yet with music, you can only have tracks that are 10 minutes long. You know, 10 minutes and 1 second. It's too long, man, too long. So yeah, and they just basically they won't even exclude like just that one track. They'll exclude like the entire release and the entire album, which I think is quite a rubbish approach to things. It's similar. It's the same with TikTok and Facebook and whatnot, because they all just want quick fire music. They don't want anything that's long, or I don't know what they're trying to avoid. Innovation, creativity. I don't know. um, but anyway, I'll leave it at that. I think that's a good update for now, and I will see you all in a bit, and I'll end the stream for now, and I'll probably do some kind of creative session. I'm doing an awful lot of rehearsal with my band next week, so I'm gonna be basically rehearsing and teaching most of next week. I might have some time to do some creative stuff and do a live stream of me creating some new music. Um, Maybe, I don't know. I'll see what I've got time for. Anyway, I will say bye for now, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.